everyone, and welcome back to Mining Networks. I'm joined today with Brad Langille from GoGold Resources. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
So let's just start by getting a brief overview of the company.
Okay, we're a Mexican gold silver producer and also explorer. And the company is about 10 years old, very well financed. We have about 75 million US in the bank, production, and a very, very exciting Los Ricos exploration asset where we've drilled over 200,000 meters in the last 3 years.
Brilliant. So you touched a little bit on the economics there. Could we just delve a little bit more into that about the kind of market cap, share structure, that sort of thing?
About 300 million shares, and the market cap would be about 500 million Canadian today, and we are pretty heavily institutional held as well as a lot of good retail share base as well. I would be either second or third largest shareholder of the company as CEO, and really, our team that's in GoGold, we've been in Mexico. I've been there 26 years, almost biggest part of my career. And we built 4 mines in Mexico over that period of time. Not all in GoGold. GoGold's been the company for the last 10 years, but in 3 other companies as well that I've led. And so we're very strong with the institutions. We have some of the largest institutions in our space who are large shareholders of the company as well.
Brilliant. So to start, should we start with your cash producing asset? So could you give us a little bit of an overview about the kind of resource there and how long the mine life?
Yeah, it's a smallish mine. It's a unique mine though because it's a reprocessing of old mine waste, and we're actually cleaning up the environment as we produce gold and silver. At these silver prices, $21, $22, it pays all the G&A in the company and some of our exploration budget. We've been producing from there now for 8 years. We have about around 7 years of reserves left. We've developed new technology in the reprocessing of old mine waste in what's called an agglomerated heap leach. And ESG perspective, it employs about 200 people in the community. Our partner is the municipality, and we pay them about $75,000 US a month, which would be in around 10% of the municipal budget. So a very good ESG project. That's our producing asset. Then we have our exploration asset, which is really the driver of the company. That's our Los Ricos project.
Yeah. So just we'll go on to your development stage one in a moment, but just going back to the producing asset, is there scope to expand the tailings there?
Well, when you have a project in production, you're always looking for those opportunities to expand or to optimize. And we actually do sit in what was a large mining camp over 300 years. So there's other piles of old mine waste or old tailings that there's potential to add those to the operation. So yes, but even today, with 7 years of reserves ahead of us, we're in a good position for that project.
Definitely. And what guidance can you give of the cash flow there with the all-in sustaining costs?
The all-in sustaining cost is around $17.50 per silver equivalent ounce. The economics, it's about 60% silver by value, about 40% gold. So we're leveraged to both commodities fairly well. It's at, as I mentioned, these current prices of the commodity at $21.50, it pays all the G&A for the company and a little bit of our exploration budget. With a very strong balance sheet and $24 million a year budget for exploration, we are well positioned. We're one of the companies in a fortunate position right now because even with the industry being down a little bit right now, we're able to have a very, very aggressive exploration program.
Brilliant. So now if we do a switch to your development stage property, do you want to give us a nice overview of that one?
Yes, that asset's in Jalisco State in Mexico. We've been there since March 2019. We paid $7.5 million US and bought that asset. It's as much exploration story as it is a consolidation story. We started out with 26 concessions. Since then, we consolidated. Now we're at 46 concessions. We've drilled 200,000 meters over about 3.5 years. We've advanced it from first resource study to 242 million ounces of silver equivalent in all categories, more than half of that being measured and indicated. The we completed an economic study in part of the project. The project's Los Ricos North and South. They're divided by about 15 kilometers. So there's some synergy between them. Everybody always asks, will it be one processing facility? Probably not. It'll be two, and probably Los Ricos South will be in production first and Los Ricos North in the future. But the highlights are exceptional economics, large resource, and our latest thing was, the 46th concession that we just consolidated, where we have a very, very high grade, looks like a very high grade ore body that's fully intact, had not been mined before. And that's what we're focused on right now.
Awesome. So last year you released a PEA on this project. Could you talk me through the post-tax numbers, the mine plan, and the capex there?
So yes, we released a pre-feasibility study in Los Ricos North, or not a pre-feasibility, a resource study in Los Ricos North. And that was the first look at ounces. That was based on about 120,000 meters of drilling. That was last December. And in the south, the year before that, we released a PEA. Now that PEA, we had been advancing it towards pre-feasibility, and we're well advanced. For example, metallurgy's at pre-feasibility levels. We had done a design on a 5,000 ton a day mill. But the new piece that we've added on is very, very high grade. I would describe it as similar grades to what a lot of companies will be talking about over a meter, things in the half kilo silver equivalent plus, but we're looking at widths more in the 15 plus meters. And now that's going to change things a bit on that PEA, which had an NPV after tax of $295 million US. But now we see that number going up substantially. We do feel, we'll have to wait for the studies, of course, but that number should be going up substantially, and it will be based on the front end of the mine plan being very, very high grade bulk underground mining is what we envision for that. So it's going to impact the economics substantially over the coming months and over the next probably year and a half. Those studies, those results will be coming out. We see a flow of drill results probably every 2 weeks, and we would be looking in January. We will be going underground in Los Ricos South into some of the old workings, rehabilitating them, and then advancing those that development over to where we're seeing this very, very high grade part of the ore body. And then from there, we'll define it better, and we'll be literally blocking it out for mining. By the second quarter of next year, we'll have a new resource out. We will be look to publish a pre-feasibility study on Los Ricos South, to define what we think will be real stellar economics with the kind of grades we're seeing. And we hope to have a permit by maybe the end of next summer. We're going to apply for that in the next 2 or 3 months. And after all of that, we'll make a construction decision hopefully next fall.
Brilliant. So just breaking that down a little bit, with the pre-feasibility study, what else is required to achieve that?
Really, we didn't have too much left to get done, but this new very high-grade portion is going to change that. And now we see an option where it was going to be a 5,000 ton a day mill and a bigger open pit. We see an option to reduce the size of that mill initially, and probably to something around 1,500 tons a day. And but in that mill, we'll build the front end or the crushing end of that mill bigger, probably around 3,000 tons. And we'll start off with, we think, 1,500 tons, focusing on very high grade underground. And as we do progress later on in the mine plan to a smaller open pit, we would double the size of that mill and go to 3,000 plus tons per day. So it's mostly going to be on we have the design of that mill, but we're going to downsize it, see how that reduces that capital. And the biggest part of the work we have to do now will be underground geotechnical, underground mine planning, and underground definition of this very high-grade material that we want to have in the early years of the mine plan.
For sure. And you also mentioned about the permitting. Is that how do you go about that process? Have you started it?
Yes, we have started it, preparing all the baseline studies, all the community work that we have to do, and we'll taking that all put together in the application for permit, which we hope to be in the next 2 to 3 months. Now, in Mexico, the permitting required or the ease of permit for an open pit, that'd be more difficult than bulk underground. They tend to be easier to permit. And but the parts that are not going to change will be our mill, and it'll be things like dry stack tailings, which are more environmentally friendly. And in fact, we'll have a smaller footprint now with not having such a large open pit. You know, from an ESG perspective, community perspective, environmental perspective, a bulk underground mine, of course, is a less impact.
Brilliant. You also recently made an acquisition on the Eagle concession, and then it was followed by some amazing drill results. How did you go about getting that property, and how did you do a drill program in such a short space of time?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the Eagle is the high-grade part of the deposit I'm alluding to. It was mostly a bit of a long bureaucratic process of registering the claims. And in that period of time that we were working through getting the claims registered, we had a contractual agreement done, but we were not comfortable releasing that until we had the claims registered. So we did that, and during that period of time, though, we had permission to get in and do some drilling on the concession. And that's why we were able to come out so quickly with those results and some very, very high-grade results. And we are waiting for more results from the lab, but we're in a pretty good, flow right now that every couple weeks we should have enough drill holes to put out a press release. So.
Brilliant. And in your eyes, what's the vision for this company over the next 5 years?
Really, we see building out the whole district. We feel that it'll start with this very, very high grade, because obviously that gives you the best NPV to develop your highest grade first, especially in this case. We see Los Ricos South being in production first. We see it as being a very strong cash generator, and that cash will be the capital to develop up the whole district. We see the whole district being developed into 2 operations over the next 5 years, Los Ricos South and North. This is a little bit arm waving without all the studies done, of course, but I would say that it will develop into one of the very, very substantial silver districts in the industry, with, if something in the range of 15 to 30 million ounces of silver production, which is a very wide range, but would be my guess today, and making it one of the most substantial silver districts in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. And so just a nice way to conclude now, what are you most proud of as a company over the past 12 months? What key things would you say you're most proud of?
I think, the company, I'm proud of the team we have. We have a very, very experienced team. That team, many of the members of that team have been with me for this is the 4th company that I've done, and over 26 years. I'm very proud of the fact that our company, out of 350 employees, there's only 5 of us who are not Mexican nationals. So we are very much we work in Mexico. That's my whole career has been there. We're very privileged. We feel very privileged to work there. We don't feel that we have to be bringing the talent from foreign countries to operate in Mexico. The talent is there. They have a long mining history, but we are a good capital arm that brings the capital to build those mines. We're very strong with the communities that we work in. We have a very strong ESG program, and we're building great jobs and great futures for people in Mexico, where the assets are located.
Definitely, no, that's awesome to hear. And then just the final question is, what key milestones should we be looking out for over the next 12 months? I
think the key milestones, you're going to see a big flow of drill results, and they're going to be on a very, very high grade part of the deposit. I think probably in my career, as far as a zone, you're going to see some of the highest grades that I've seen in my career from a GT perspective. Milestones, Los Ricos North, first quarter, a PA next year. Los Ricos South, in the second quarter next summer, we're going to see pre-feasibility. We should see the permit. And next fall, the big milestone is we're going to break ground and build this. Now, I'll tell you that I built 4 mines. Do I need to build mine 5 and 6 to fulfill my career? Not really, but I think we have such tremendous asset here. There could be interest, M&A interest, but that being said, you can't plan on that. That's something that's outside of your control. What we can control is having our head down, doing the good technical work, and doing the good community work, and building mines. So we'll be focused on that, and we'll see what comes.
Definitely will. We look forward to following the story here. Thank you so much for your time today, Brad.
Great, thank you.